ladies and gentlemen. The Ball and a Brawlin' podcast is back as the UFC heads to Salt Lake City, Utah, as who Hebs and some people would believe to be the pound for pound number one, one of the biggest stars in the sport today, Shama, Alex Pereira is set to defend his title against a household name. Everybody knows him, Khalil Roundtree. UFC 307.
Let's go.
Look, it's not the most stacked card, but there's a couple fights worth watching on this one. Hebs, give me your initial thoughts on this card, man.
Dude, so I feel like this is not the first time this has happened where like the UFC starts making these announcements of like, oh, like banger main event. Specifically these last couple months, like all of 2024. And then all of a sudden they like kind of leave out a card. Like you remember so they had Noche at the Sphere, massive deal, right? And then they were saying, well, what's coming next?
Topuria Max.
Oh, yeah, the Topuria Max is like on paper one of the best cards, of all time, right? So like what a banger. 309, everyone's known forever, is going to be the return of the old men from the retirement home, right? So we always knew what those fights. They announced 308 before 307, and it wasn't just it got leaked, it was a big announcement. So like I don't know if they end up just like throwing these cards together. It's a little bit confusing. Card as a whole is not that great. When 308 is the next one, like I don't really know how much you can complain about it, but yeah, the Alex Pereira saves the day again. Let me ask you, was this the plan all along? Did Dana, he was just announcing these cards or the later cards before this one for no reason? Did he always know it was going to be Pereira versus Roundtree? Or what? Because is this the third time in like 6 months that Alex Pereira is saving the company?
Bro, so no, if you like Ariel, I know people, whatever, but Ariel definitely has like pull and like whoever. Oh, yeah. I don't know how he gets his info, but so what they were initially trying to do is the Noche card. They actually initially were talking about Max Ilya on the Noche card.
Yeah.
And if you saw, they even offered Max Chandler on the Noche card as well. So I felt like that was part of it. And they were also, then after that, like Ariel was like, it's going to be Sean Marab at Noche. And then it was supposed to be Ilya Max in Salt Lake City because they were doing Islam versus Arman in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
And then when Islam had the hand injury and he needs some more time, they moved because they don't want to disappoint any of the Abu Dhabi money people. They moved Ilya and Max in that card, that loaded card they took to Abu Dhabi. And then I felt like they were just like, oh, we got this, Salt Lake card. Let's call Poatan. He'll accept on a month notice.
That's a yes. This is Glover speaking. That's a yes, Dana. He's rolling. So I guess we can get right in, but I guess we'll end up talking about it at the end. But as a Roundtree supporter, as a respected member of the Khalil Roundtree fan base, is this the weirdest title fight in recent memory?
I mean, like I told you before, I love Alex Pereira. I think he's one of the most entertaining fighters to watch, an elite guy. He's taken the sport by storm. It's very obvious that the company's protecting him. I mean, this Roundtree has no business in this fight. Like his last win was against. Has he beat anybody in the top 5 ever? No.
No, actually not. His biggest win was against Anthony Smith, and he knocked him out in the second. But again, for those of you out there that like looking on the outside in, that might not be as into this sport as Hebs and I, this is a guy who has lost multiple fights. He's strictly a stand-up fighter. They know exactly what they're doing, and again, this is MMA. Anything can happen. Roundtree's a juice to the gills. Devastating striker. So this fight's going to be awesome, but make no mistake about it. The UFC plans on Mr. Poatan getting a vicious KO in this one and continuing his rise to superstardom. Yeah, well, all right. So let's get into the main card. Actually, I guess we could talk. I want to give Wonder Boy a shout out, so we could talk about that because could potentially be his last fight. And we're also going to talk about a theme that's going on a lot with the UFC currently, but specifically with this card, the disrespect to some UFC legends in Wonderboy and Jose Aldo. So let's get into that fight. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, a legend in every sense of the word, has been, one of the best strikers we've ever seen in mixed martial arts, right, in the UFC. Could potentially be his last fight. So, they're going to give him real fun, stylistic matchup. They got MVP seemingly just so he could fight Wonderboy because that's a fight the fans wanted to see. Let's give him a fun stand-up guy. Yeah, actually, no, we're going to give you a Joaquin Buckley, a bum in every sense of the word. Justin, can you break? And before we make our predictions, if you didn't watch our last video, this kid sacked Aaron Rodgers on Sunday, so let's forgive him for going 0 for 5 in his predictions, all right? Cut the kid some slack. Leave the predictions to me and the football to this guy. But tell us, break us down this fight, please.
Dude, did I actually go 0 for 5?
I'm saying next week when somebody's watching this reaction, they're like, holy shit, this guy's a moron. They're like, okay, at least.
No. All right,
good at football.
Just to start this card off, the UFC continues to disrespect, and I'm not going to say this is a legend, but not only Stephen Thompson on the prelims, the early prelims, and again, I'm no fan of Carla Esparza, but she's a 2-time champion in the sport, and she's on the early prelims. Why? Because she's not an entertaining fighter to watch, and secondly, because she doesn't sell. So the UFC moves a 2-time champion down to the early prelims in what could be her final fight or one of her last fights in the sport. It's a sick business, but again, it's how Dana and the UFC run their ship. And we head up to these prelims, and
dude, do you know who else? I almost spit out my fucking Angry Orchard. Fucking Ovin St. Preux. First, dude, he still fights. He's fighting on the early prelims.
I didn't even know.
Dirty Bird means, dude. I had no. I thought I didn't even. I don't know. Ovin St. Preux. I had no idea he still fights,
bro. And then, a guy in Stephen Thompson who's been a great fighter in the company for such a long time. The UFC, towards the end of his career, which he's at right now, he's still a good fighter, but he is on the way out, I would say. They've been offering him these Shavkat Rakhmonovs and these killer fights. Obviously he doesn't want to take those. He probably realizes he's not probably fighting for the title ever again. Why would he fight these young phenom guys that nobody wants to fight to begin with when he's 40 years old?
Yeah.
So again, they stick him on the prelims because he doesn't say he's not a yes man to everything they want. And they stick him in here in a stylistic matchup that's not very good for him, to be honest, and against Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah.
A guy who's a heavy wrestler, young, athletic, explosive, kind of a guy that's on the come up in the company. You see what they're trying to do. They're trying to build this guy up. And dude, I'm rooting for Wonderboy in this one. I think it being a 3-round fight, it's a tough one for him because I think Buckley's going to just shoot takedowns and probably be able to win 2 of the rounds. But if for some reason Wonderboy can keep this one on the feet, and he does have good wrestling defense, if he's able to keep this on the feet, make no mistake about it, we will roll with Wonderboy. You know what? Fuck it. We're rolling with Wonderboy to get this one done via 2nd round TKO.
I love it.
What's your take, Hebs?
Dude, I would feel disrespected if I didn't agree with you. Sorry, I was just pulling up because I didn't know if there was a fight in between these. There was. It was Kevin Holland. Dude, when Wonderboy went on, remember he beat Luque when Luque had all this hype about him. He 50-45 Jeff Neal. He got on a little bit of a run. He got back in that win column, that title picture. He then had to fight Gilbert Burns. It was a competitive fight. It was like a lay and pray fest, right? I think Wonderboy knocked him.
Snooze fest.
That was McGregor, right?
Yeah, yep.
But it was literally your classic striker versus wrestler, lay and pray. Then Wonderboy knocks him down when they exchange on the feet, and then he goes right back to laying and praying. And as you mentioned, Wonderboy, he's had great takedown defense his whole career, right? That's what his career's been made up. He's had unreal stand-up. In order to keep the fight on his feet, he's had great takedown defense. He's fought a ton of wrestlers. On the back end of his career now, right? He's fucking 41. Obviously, the takedown defense isn't holding up as much. And again, we're talking about Bilal Muhammad and Shavkat Rakhmonov and Gilbert Burns a little bit, but these are the guys that are taking him down. Sue me. Those are the best wrestlers in the division, right? So even against Shavkat, he was defending the takedowns for a little bit before getting submitted. But Dude, I need to see I can't see fucking if Buckley just takes him down and lays him, like, I'm gonna turn off my television, even though I'm gonna pay an arm and a leg for the pay-per-view. So I really want to see a Wonder Boy knockout. But back to what we're saying about these legends, this disrespect to the legend. Wonder Boy, one of the best fighters in the game. Again, the guy has been doing it forever. Is this how his career is going to end in Utah against Joaquin Buckley, who's going to lay on him for 15 minutes, dude? Like, I don't know. Give the guy a fun fight. Like, he's not in the title picture. So, like, why is he fighting Joaquin Buckley? Like, he didn't want to. He was very vocal. I don't want to fight, literally by name. I don't want to fight Shavkat. You still make him fight Shavkat. Like, he's not a title challenger anymore. He's 41. Let him fight fun stand-up fights. I'm going with Wonder Boy to put his lights out. He's going to light him up like a Christmas tree, and then he's going to finish the job. Wonder Boy knocks him out. Now we'll get into the main card, which, I mean, that should be the first fight of the main card. These two fights should be flipped. Rome Dolidze. This is just a festival. The main card is just like a gathering of guys who have knocked out Anthony Smith, who hate Anthony Smith. Rome Dolidze, a big, chunky 185er who, like, I don't know if he could put together a combo. Kevin Holland, I mean, if Dolidze does put in a combo, then Holland will probably just, like, quit and start shrugging. Very weird matchup. Well, I thought Holland was bouncing back to 170, and then he was scheduled for Cannonier. Dolidze, an 85er who moves up and fights Anthony Smith for some reason at 205 on short notice, does really well, and then comes right back down. Kind of a confusing fight. What do you got in this one?
Yeah, dude. You know, Roman coming off just incredible win against Anthony Smith.
Styling on him, man. Styling.
He moved up to 205 for that one and beat the, number one contender there at light heavyweight. But he takes on Holland, who, look.
If they called me on 2 weeks' notice and said fight Anthony Smith, I would be like, yeah, I'll do it for free. Like, I mean, what are we talking about here?
Dude, so, like, again, Kevin Holland, I'm a fan, but we all know who Kevin Holland is. He's an entertaining guy, but he doesn't have the skill set to become an elite fighter in the sport, I would say. And, again, you look at a fight like this, it's like, which way do you lean? Can Dolidze get him down? But again, you get Kevin Holland down, there's a chance of submission. He is legit off his back. Yeah. And then you got a guy like Holland who's going to have the speed advantage in this one for sure. But Dolidze is definitely going to have a size advantage. It's kind of a toss-up fight for me. I'm going to go with Holland to be the faster guy on the feet here. Yeah, move around. And honestly, I think Dolidze is going to just having that success with the striking against Smith, and he's trying to put himself on a little run here. I see him coming out here and striking with Holland. I don't think that's going to be good for him. I'm going to take Holland to get this one done via unanimous decision. And I mean, Dolidze is riding the Georgian native of our guy Marab, who just won the title, brought it back there the other day. Did you see that, Marab in Georgia?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't.
Oh yeah, it was sick. There was like crazy security and everyone around him, people just swarming him and stuff. He took the title back there. But I'm going with Holland.
People know who he is. Like, they're like, who is this troll?
He's a pound for pound. He's a pound for pound guy.
He's a pound for. Oh my gosh! All right, we'll move on. I agree with you. I'm going with Kevin Holland. I think a reoccurring trend that we're seeing a lot this year is like guys in different weight. Like, it's almost exposing the differential in skill as the weight classes get lighter, right? Like, like Pereira versus Michel Pereira. He was fighting Ola Jacek, and it was a 205er coming down to 185 versus a 170er moving up to 185, and like it just wasn't even close. Like every time I feel like we're talking about that narrative of like one guy is going to be way bigger. They're in different weight classes. Like the smaller guy is just like way faster, way more talented. Kevin Holland, obviously, talent's never been the issue. Entertaining guy, obviously, you gotta love him as a fan, not just for the whatever, how fast he turns around, how frequently he fights, but like the type of fights he puts on. I think he's just way better than Dolidze. Like, again, him versus Anthony Smith, the fact he was like, whatever, dancing on Anthony Smith. Like, do you know how embarrassing that is to have fucking Roman Dolidze, that big chunky whatever refrigerator, like fucking doing like the electric slide against you, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't even know the kid could throw a combo going into the fight. So I hope Kevin Holland wins. I think he will. I think he's way faster, way more skilled. I don't think Dolidze will be able to get him down, but I think if they're Holland's going to win at like pretty much every exchange, I would take it. And I mean, I don't even think Dolidze has that big of knockout power. I know he has knockouts, but
yeah, we're on to the women's bantamweight bout between, again, a girl who I think we all know what the UFC is doing here. They're putting Kayla Harrison on this main card along with the title fight between Raquel Pennington and Julianna Penna that we'll get to later on. But I think this is a clear-cut number one. We're not going to say clear-cut for Ketlen Viera because we all know how the UFC works, but make no mistake about it. Kayla Harrison coming in here as a -900 favorite. And make no mistake, she wins this one. She will be fighting for the title next. And, I think the UFC's plan will go pretty smooth in this one. Although I don't want to discredit Ketlen Viera. I do think she's a pretty good fighter. I just think Kayla Harrison's a woman's bantamweight version of Michael Chandler with the same testosterone as Chandler. So, no, my bad. I don't want to say, I was meaning that in the physique, she's just way stronger than all these women. She does not.
Yeah, I understood what you that was hence where my reaction came from.
She does not have the stand up that Chandler does have. But
you're like, all right, wait, let me break. I didn't mean it like that. I mean that she's juiced and she's jacked out of her mind. That's what I thought you meant.
What a coincidence that they oh no, they're not at the same spot. Chandler's not an ATT, right? No, he's not.
No. He's down in Florida.
They're both in Florida though, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going with Harrison. And I'm actually going to go with this fight to go into the second or third round. I think Ketlen Viera will be able to actually not compete here, but be able to, push it into the second or third round. And but yeah, I'm going to go with Kayla Harrison to get this one done via TKO. What about you?
Via TKO, some ground and pound, take her down, and then
yeah, absolutely. She's not hurting her on the feet. Come on now.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got Kayla Harrison. All right. Jose Aldo, his second fight since making his return against Jonathan Martinez a couple months ago. You want to talk about disrespecting legends. Jose Aldo, some people have him as a top 10 ranked fighter in the history of the UFC, ran the featherweight division forever, moved down to bantamweight and continued. He got a title shot. He continued to go on a run late in his career. He retires. He comes back. Fucking bantamweight has all these fun fights. Could we give him a Corey Sandhagen? No, actually, let's just give him a legendary kind of old timer fight in a Dominic Cruz. Or actually, no, he could get a more of a. I'm trying to maybe like a Pewter Jan rematch. That was a sick fight. Yeah, actually, no, you're gonna fight Jonathan Martinez, a young up and comer on a 7-fight win streak. Okay, fine, but what if I look absolutely dominant in that fight? What if I look like I haven't missed a beat and I could still make a run at the belt? Do I have to beat another top 10 guy? Actually, no, the Jan fight is kind of calling. Sandhagen's not booked. Let's do something with him. Actually, you're going to fight Mario Bautista. That's what you're going to do. Let's just feed this guy like he's a gatekeeper or something. I don't understand it. I'm very upset by it. And I think, again, whether you wanted him to fight like a number one contender fight, not even that, but like, you know what I mean? Another title contender, if that's what he wants to do. Or he could go fight a fun fight with like a Dominic Cruz. I don't understand why they make this fight. I think Bautista, he's on a run. He's got 5-6 wins in a row at this point. Not the most impressive fight. He just fought Blackshear, who then just got sparked out by Montel Jackson in like 15 seconds. So I'm not all too impressed with him. I love Aldo. How well has the Merab fight held up? He goes 0 for 16 shooting takedowns. We all knew he had like some of the best takedown defense ever, but we just keep, it's aged very well. Aldo looked so good against Martinez, man. He still looked so fast. He's still big for bantamweight. He's got power. His wrestling, he was the one taking Martinez down. So I know Bautista, you could look and say he has a slight edge in wrestling, but does he have an edge in wrestling over Merab? I don't think so. So, if Merab doesn't get you down, I'm not sure too many guys will. So there are very few bantamweights. I think even today at 37 years old, I think there are very few bantamweights who beat him. What do you got?
I'm with you on this one, bro. I don't understand what the UFC is doing with Aldo. It's almost like they're like mad that he came out of retirement, and they're
Yeah, well
just
then
like,
just don't sign it. It doesn't make any sense, dude.
dude. So they throw him in here again with the guy that if you're not a like legitimate fan, you're not going to know who Mario Bautista is. He comes into this fight on a 6-fight win streak, like you said, but hasn't really beat anybody legitimate. But again, we see Vegas have him here as a slight favorite in this one, which is kind of, I don't understand it. It's not good, but like
And
you
you
said,
know how those usually end up going.
yeah, but like you said, I'm not picking against Aldo, bro. He looked great.
He
His
looks
physique's
great.
still there. Like he's even
Yeah.
got he's got the tattoo sleeve going on the left arm.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand how he's an underdog in this one.
Yeah.
No one in the division can take him down. Like
Yeah.
his takedown defense is maybe the best in the history of the sport. Like
Actually.
so, I mean, I'm interested to see how the fight goes. I'm gonna go with Aldo until I'm proven otherwise. Like I'm going with Jose Aldo in this one to get a win here via. I'll go decision in this one.
Yeah, I think it'll be a decision as well. I'm not sure. He has power, like I said. I'm not sure it's not. Actually, he almost knocked out Martinez, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he retired, but he went and became a professional boxer. So he was just training the boxing. So like, I mean, again, and Martinez was supposed to have leg kicks. Aldo nullifies that. He's a great leg. I mean, everything Aldo does is so great. You're like, oh, well, leg kicks are going to be a problem. Well, no, because he's got like tremendous leg kick defense. He's got great takedown defense. And then obviously on the offensive side, he's as good as it gets. So I don't understand the line at all. The line screams that he's going to lose. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll.
Dude, what's crazy is like you said, even at this age, I would pick Aldo to beat like still like other than probably like 5 or 6, 7 bantamweights.
Julianna Penna is back in the octagon. She looks to get her belt back that was stolen from her against Raquel Pennington. I cannot tell you how happy I am about this co-main event. Sometimes when you have to just sit on the couch and watch fights for like 6 hours in a row, you get a little bit tired. What perfect placement before I have to get to see my king, Pohatan. I get a nice little bathroom break. Who knows what, just take a little bit, take a walk around the house, maybe flip on a football game for the time being. These are these great, Saturdays where you get to watch football all day and then fights all night. Talk about a loser I am, just explaining my ideal Saturday is not leaving the couch. But I will leave the couch for this fight because what a bizarre, I mean, who cares? These women's fighters, their records are like 10-6. Like they're the Giants or something, bro. Would that even win you the NFC East? Like, how do these fight? Like, all right, you can go. I don't have much else to say. I don't know who's going to win. I don't really care. Penna is kind of hysterical. It's always funny when we're kind of seeing it now with Colby, but he's way far past this point. Like when you try to play heel and like flip on a character and like nobody cares, you just end up being like the cringiest person ever. Like at least when it's work, you're always going to have haters when you make a move like that. But Penna like just decided that like she's just going to be like ripping on Nunes and like whatever, try to develop this kind of heel character. And like, I mean, where has she been the last couple of years? I know she's been hurt. They had the trilogy scheduled. And then in the octagon, Nunes is retiring, the greatest women's mixed martial artist of all time, and she's retiring, whatever. And Penna is like, "You're running from me!" Like she's scared. Like, fucking have some respect for yourself, you fucking loser. I mean, whatever,
Dude,
bro.
And the UFC wants Kayla Harrison to become champ because Nunes has basically said that she will come out of retirement to fight Kayla Harrison, which would be sick, by the way.
Really? That would be sick.
Yeah.
I would watch that fight. That would be very cool.
But like you said, bro, this fight is not going to be the most entertaining. I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I could care less about this fight.
Dude, big problem. Sorry, I just keep fucking.
No, you're good. I mean, I'll go with Raquel Pennington via decision in this one, as I actually think Raquel is actually a little bit more of a complete fighter than a girl like Julianna, who's so one-dimensional, to be honest. I know she had the little historic performance against Nunes, but it's like, bro, it's tough to watch, to be honest. It's tough watching these divisions because there's the like one champion, or not champion, I should say, but it was like Nunes and everybody else. And yeah, Nunes got stunned one time. Like, but bro, it's so much different of a level of like competitive. Like none of these girls even compete with Nunes, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, so
well, that was
whatever.
why the Pena fight
Yeah,
bro, Nunes hadn't been touched in like I don't know how long. Like
yeah.
I think literally because do you remember the beginning of that fight? That was a big car. I think that might have been it was either Usman, Colby. That was in like the fall of 21. There were a ton of good fights. Like Poirier, Oliveira was around that time. I think it was that one. But like the first round, it was like still like dominated by Nunes. Like everything she threw, you were like, all right. Like that's why you like watching her, because you know she's just gonna put her away in the first round. And then it was like the first sign of danger. She just kind of hadn't been in a real fight in years and forgot what to do. It was and then we saw what happened in the rematch. It wasn't even fucking close. She got memed on into oblivion because she's like running with her head down. But there's just not enough talent in these divisions. Like, I know it's not boxing, and like you love to see an Oliveira, a guy who takes his losses in the UFC and then rises to become a champ. But like, I feel like every woman's champ is 8-5 in the UFC. Like, is that even true? I don't know, but I'm going to roll with that and you're going to believe me. So don't fact check it. Who cares? Take a little nap and then get the juices flowing for the main event of the evening.